welcome to Lauren Reed Color. I apologize if I sound a bit congested. It is a change of season and my allergies have decided that it is time to start acting up. Anyway, in today's Saturday snippet, we are continuing our page in Small Victories by Johanna Basford. The page that we're working on is the Garden Friends page, and we've started working on the snail. We've done the blue flowers and the yellow flowers, and today we are going to be doing the poppy red flowers and getting a start on the leaves. So the pencils we're using are Prismacolors. This is the palette that we are working with. So it's going to be these colors, and these colors. Feel free to take a screenshot of the palette and keep it for yourself. And the inspiration image that we are working with is this little snail that I found on Pinterest. And as you can see, we're following the flower colors, and we will also follow the leaf colors. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so we are going to be starting with this flower next to the golden flower we did last time. And we are starting with Peach, which is 939. Okay, so we're just putting a light layer of this color on all of these petals. And again, we are leaving the highlight at the top. Okay, so if you are new to the channel, then I just want to let you know that these are chatty videos. So as I'm coloring, I talk about all sorts of different things, my week, the books I've read, the shows I've watched, anything interesting I've seen on the internet, and so on. Okay, so our next color, poppy red. Okay, so poppy red, which is 922. Anyways, yeah, so another week has gone by. Wow, I can't believe how quickly 2025 has just almost come to an end. Anyway, yeah, so my week. So I have a family friend. Her name is Gwen, and she is she's going to be 95 in December. She was a friend of my parents, and I've known her my whole life. And yeah, she's going to be 95, and she's, you know, not as spry as she used to be. Our next color is Scarlet Lake, 923. Anyway, so Gwen has been having some health issues lately, and I went to see her on Saturday morning after recording last week's Saturday snippets, and she didn't look really good, so I called the ambulance and the paramedics came. 1 second. Next we have Tuscan Red, which is 937. I think I need to sharpen this one. Hold on. This one is only in the deepest shadows. Okay, and yeah, so I called the ambulance, the paramedics came, they took her blood pressure and her pulse, and they said her pulse was really, really low and she has to go to the hospital. Yeah, so off she went to the hospital, and they decided there that she needed a pacemaker, but she's 95 anyway. So it's not a procedure with a general anesthetic because she's too old. They won't. She has to have some other surgery as well with a general anesthetic, and the doctors are not. They're not eager to do that one because she's also got some kidney problems. Anyway, getting old is the pits. But she's got a good attitude. Anyway, so they installed the pacemaker, and yeah. Now we're going to do the center of this flower, and that squealing in the background, if you don't already know, is my Jack Russell Toby, who doesn't like to be ignored. Okay, Jasmine, 1012. Yeah, so that was my Saturday after last week's Saturday Snippets. Okay, we are leaving the highlight over here on the top. Okay, with Jasmine. Okay, and now we're going to go in with, I think we're going to go back in with that Tuscan Red 937. Yeah. On Sunday, what did I do on Sunday? Sunday was just relaxing. And we're blending it out with the Jasmine. And now we're going to put in some yellow acrylic marker. I use the Artristro brand, but any brand will do. I'm just going to give this a shake. 1 second. We just have to get the lid off. Okay, and we just do some dots here in the middle. Okay, yes, I like that. We're going to do exactly the same for this little flower on the bottom. Again, light peach. On Monday, I went to have my flu shot. And there was a new nurse, and I said to him, you're new? And he said, I've been here for a year. And I'm like, that's new. Anyway, he was very gentle, and I didn't really feel it. And for once, usually after I have the flu shot, my arm hurts for like 24 hours. We're going in with, let's call it like we need poppy red. And this time it did not hurt at all. I was very happy. Yeah, I have to have the flu shot because I have asthma. And if I get the flu, it will not be good. So, yeah. And then on Monday evening, my roommate and I went to friends for dinner. I've spoken about them before in the channel, Rosie and her family. Their oldest daughter was there this time, and she has 2 little boys. They are so cute. Hey, Scarlet Lake. Anyway, yeah, so she has these 2 little boys, and the oldest, whose name is Dean, he's about 5. So she was telling us that he has been listening to Spotify. And he has started mimicking the sounds that music makes when it's stuck. And she has no idea where he learned this behavior. Next we have Tuscan Red. Anyway, she was very amused with this. And she was regaling us with his antics. And her youngest son, he's about 2. He's just so cute. He is the most placid baby I have ever seen. He just does not cry. And he's always smiling. He is just so adorable. Okay. Peach, 939. Yeah, so that was Monday night. Oh, it was very good food. Rosie is such a good cook. There was roast beef and rice and salads. Okay. In the middle, it's Jasmine. And Tuscan Red. And blend again with Jasmine. And now our, oops, this one's got a tight lid. Dots. Okay. Okay, so now we are going to move on to this other slightly larger flower, and I'm going to also make this one a reddish color but slightly different. So I think we're going to start with the jasmine. Where did I put it? Here it is. Okay, so we're going to put the jasmine down on all of these petals. Okay. Anyway, so the rest of the week was relatively uneventful. I did finish the book that I was reading, which was called Only Enchanting by Mary Ballard, and it's a historical romance. She writes books that are set during and after the Napoleonic Wars. I'm just turning the page a bit so that we can get this petal. Yeah, so this series that I'm reading is called The Survivors, and it's a spin-off of her Bedouin series with all the Bedouin siblings. The heroine in the first book of the series is the sister of one of the heroes from the Bedouin series. Yeah, it's her books are. I like her books. One second, let me just figure out which color I'm using next. We're going to use pumpkin orange, 1032. I need to sharpen this one. Hold on. Oh, someone is very whiny. For no reason, he's already had breakfast. Okay, so pumpkin orange, 1032. Okay. Yeah, so really? You're not a happy camper? No. Okay, I'm sorry. Anyway, so the Bedouins, the survivors. Okay, so anyway, so I really like her writing. Not all of the couples have the best chemistry. Like some of them do, some of them have fabulous chemistry and great stories. And one or two books have not really been my scene. And the same is true of this Survivor series. And the previous book in this series was actually a DNF for me. It did not finish. I just could not get into it. It was, I don't know, I wasn't feeling it. Anyway. Yes, Toby wasn't feeling it either. Hold on one second, I have to see what's wrong. Sorry about that. He is 17 and he has a little bit of arthritis, and he was just, I think, trying to find a comfortable spot. The weather is getting cooler, and I think that it's a little bit more painful for him. Anyway, he seems to be settling now. We're with pumpkin orange, which is 1032. Okay, and we're just, I think we've put it down on all of these petals, but I'm just going over just to make sure because we got distracted. Okay, next we're going to put in some terracotta. Okay, so that's 944. Yeah, so where was I? Right, the Survivor series. So the book that I read, Only Enchanting, is book 4, I think, and I DNF'd book 3. I don't really like to DNF. I like to give a book a really good try before I decide that I'm not finishing it. So usually I give it 50 pages. If after 50 pages I'm just not into it, or I find that I'm putting it down and don't really want to pick it up again, then I call it quits. There's so many good books, and I don't want to, I can just read something else. Anyway, but this book, Only Enchanting, I did finish. It was good enough to finish, but there were still some issues with it. Let's go with Tuscan Red. Okay, 937. Only in the shadow areas. Yeah, so it was a slow start. I think the end of the book was better than the beginning of the book. So I'm glad I stuck with it. But the beginning was very slow. There's like one chapter, the heroine is an artist, and she likes to walk in nature and paint nature. So there's one chapter which I would say 80% of the chapter is describing her painting daffodils. And I'm like, get on with the story already. Also, the hero is not my favorite of the characters. Like, we're introduced to all of the characters in the first book, and each one of these secondary characters in the first book is going to get their own book. And he's not one of my favorites. Okay, with the same, we just blended with Jasmine. And also with Jasmine, we're just going to put in a little color there. And then we're going to get the terracotta. Just put a little bit over there for this overlapping leaf, petal. Okay, the center of this one is going to be Deco Yellow, 1011. Okay, then some terracotta, 944. Okay, and then some Tuscan red. And blend with Deco Yellow. And again, where's our yellow paint pen? Yeah. Anyway, so I did make it to the end. The end was much better. There was a good other woman plot line, which I don't usually enjoy, but it was well done in this one. Okay, right, let's zoom out and look at all of our flowers. Okay, so this is what our flowers are looking like now, and I really like them. I think they've come out beautifully. And what we're going to do next is we're going to start with these leaves around the flowers, the really big leaves. Okay, we're going to do those ones first. Okay, so let's zoom in again. We will start with these blue ones, the leaves that belong to this blue flower. Okay, so we are starting with Pale Sage, which is 1089, and we're just going to put this color on these leaves. We're going to leave the highlight at the top, okay? So just on the left-hand side and then around the flower. Okay, this one too, and this tiny one over here. Okay, next we've got olive green, 911. Yeah, so that's what I started reading a new book, which is called The Last Guard, and it's by Nalini Singh. And this book is part of her Psy Changeling series. So if you know Nalini Singh, she has an ongoing series called the Psy Changeling. It's set in the future, and there are different races. There are humans, there are changelings, which are people who can change into different kinds of animals, and there are the Psy, and the Psy are psychics. They have different supernatural abilities like telekinesis and mind control and teleporting and all sorts of other abilities. Okay, and there's conflicts between these groups. Our next color is Prussian green. Yes, Prussian green. Okay, 109. Anyway, and they're paranormal romance. So each book has a different couple, and sometimes there are different relationships between the different species. So most often it's between the Psy and the changelings. But every once in a while, it'll be a changeling and a human, or a change. If I'm remembering correctly, there is only one book between a human and a Psy, because the humans are really afraid of the Psy. Okay, now I'm just going to go back in with the Pale Sage 1089 and blend this out. And I think it's not part of our original color palette, but I think I am also going to get some lime peel. Lime peel always makes leaves look a little bit more realistic. So 1 second, I'm just going to get that pencil. Okay, so I also have lime peel, which is 1005. And we're just going to put a little bit of this color in the highlight area. Not a lot, just a little. It gives it more of a realistic look. Okay, and I also want to deepen up the shadows, and to do that, I am going to take a water brush, marker. I use the Keiko Green. These are pens that have a fine tip, and they also have a brush tip. So any pen that has a brush tip will do, and you also need a Q-tip. Right, so what I'm going to do is just very lightly put down a few dabs of this color. Hold on 1 second. Let's move on to the same leaves that are on this side of the page. Okay, and we're going to do exactly the same. Okay. Where was I? Right, Side Changeling. So, this book, which is called The Last Guard, is in the spin-off series. It's still the same series. It's still the Side Changeling, but she finished one story arc and now she's moved on to another one. Next we have Olive Green. So, where was I? Yes. I'm stopping every once in a while to go and see what Toby's doing. Anyway, so this book, as I said, is part of the spin-off series, which is called Side Changeling Trinity. It has a different story arc than the first series, and I'm enjoying it. It's pretty good. Again, some of the books are better than the others. I loved the first book. It was wonderful. The second one was okay. The third one was fabulous. It's my favorite so far. I'm on book 5. Book 4 was a bit of more of a miss than a hit, but this one is shaping up to be good. So I'm happy so far. Next we have Prussian Green 109. Okay. And I'm enjoying it so far. I'm only like 3 chapters in, but so far so good. And usually by the 3rd chapter, I can sort of tell if I'm going to like a book. Lime peel. I'm thinking of putting some of the blue from the flowers into here as well, just to keep it cohesive. So I think I'm going to do that. But first, let's do our trick with the water brush pen. Okay. This paper likes this technique. There's some papers that don't, but this one seems to like it. Okay, I do think we need a little bit of true blue, so I'm just going to get that one. Okay, so I've got True Blue. True Blue is a color that we used in these flowers, and by adding a little bit of this color to the leaves, you're going to get a cohesive look to it, but really just a tiny amount in a couple of random spots. And then you blend it out with the pale sage. And we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Okay, just in a couple of random spots. Okay. It makes the page look a little bit more cohesive. Okay, yes, I like that. Okay, now we're going to do the same to these leaves on the bottom. Yeah, so I've started reading that one and I'm enjoying it. I'm also still watching FBI. My roommate explained to me that there are some episodes of that show that cross over with 2 spin-off series. So I went and I looked it up, and now I have a list of episodes that cross over. So I am trying to watch the episodes in order. Okay, olive green. So I've watched all of season 1 of FBI and all of season 1 of FBI Most Wanted. I really like FBI Most Wanted. I think I prefer FBI Most Wanted to FBI. I mean, I like FBI. It's a good show. I'm enjoying it. I think the plots are a little bit cliched. There's nothing really original, but you know, they're fun to have on in the background while I'm coloring. Prussian Green 109. And but I really like Most Wanted. I think the characters are more interesting, and the lead actor, Julian McMahon, who very sadly passed away recently, is just he was just such a wonderful actor. Next it's Lime Peel 1005, and he was just such a wonderful actor. I first saw him in a show called many years ago called Profiler with Ali Walker. He was also an FBI agent. And then of course he was in Charmed, which I think is where most people know him from. Okay, the water brush, our pen, just to deepen up our shadows. I just realized I was off camera, so all we did was add True Blue to these leaves and blend it out with pale sage. Okay, we're going to start with Deco Yellow, which is 1011, because Deco Yellow is also the color that is the base color of this flower. Okay, so a couple of the cats in the neighborhood are also singing, so I apologize for that too. I don't know what's going on in the neighborhood today. Olive green, 911. And yeah, so I'm still watching FBI, and I'm enjoying it. And now we're just going to blend that out with Deco Yellow again. And again with our brush pen, just in the deepest shadows. I'm not going to put it on there because that leaf is really tiny. Okay, yeah. Okay, now we're going to do the same for these leaves here on this one. Is there a... No, I don't think there's a leaf there. Just do all 4 of these ones. Okay, lime peel. Olive green. I think I made a mistake and put lime peel, but that's okay. It should have been olive green. These leaves are so tiny, and it doesn't really matter. It gives a little bit of variety when you use different colors. It's fine. Okay. Really very tiny amounts of this pen. Not sure I should have done that one. It's so small. Oops. Okay. Now we will do these ones. Okay, also, no, I think here we're going to go back to the pale sage, because this flower does not have that yellow undertone. Pale sage, let's do some kelp green. Kelp green, 1090. This one's got more of a bluish tint to it than the others. I always make sure to color the shade in the direction of the light source. So I've decided the light source is coming from above. That's why all of our other leaves and petals have the highlight at the top. And here with this leaf, so if the sun is coming from above like that, then the light's going to hit the top of this petal and the top of this petal, leaf, sorry. And so the shadow is underneath. Okay. Let's put in a little lime peel. Okay, and then our water marker. Okay, just tiny amounts. Okay, where else do we have these leaves? We have them, I'm just going to turn the book again. We have them on this flower. Okay, so here again we've got a yellow base, which I think was jasmine. So we're going to put jasmine on these leaves. Okay, and then let's do the kelp green again. Oh no, let's do the olive green. Okay. Here the light source is going to be there. Yeah. Okay, I mean the highlight. It doesn't really matter where you put your highlight, as long as you have a highlight. Prussian green. And water marker. Oops. The book moved. Sorry about that. Oh, I forgot to clip the other side of the page like I did last time, but that's okay. Next time I'll remember, because I'm struggling to hold the page down. Okay. Let's do these ones. I think we'll also use jasmine as the base color. Just make sure we're on camera. Okay. And now let's do olive green. What else did I do this week? Oh, I didn't talk about my students' papers. I have finally finished marking all of them. I'm so proud of myself. Lime peel, just to merge this with the jasmine. Yeah, so I finally finished marking all of my students' papers. The last 3 were very good. So the last one I read was on Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief by Rick Riordan. So the student compared the story to the original myth of Perseus. And she talked about the similarities and the differences. What else did she talk about? She also talked about the hero's journey based on Joseph Campbell's famous book. So that was a very good paper. Okay, I'm just going to zoom out again and look at the overall effect that we've got so far. Okay, so this is what it's looking like right now. I think I'm going to look at the inspiration picture because I'm not sure what I'm going to do with some of these other leaves. I think I want to make them not green because I think we've got enough green. Perhaps we'll make them this orangey color. Let me just look at the inspiration picture for a second and see if I can get an idea. So I've looked at the inspiration picture and I can see that over there and over there and also here at the top, there is some purple. So that's what we're going to do. And also here at the bottom, there's like this really dark maroon color. So I think that that's what we're going to do. We're going to make the leaves, the really, really tiny leaves, purple. So for these leaves, I've chosen Parma Violet, 1008, Black Grape, 996, Prismacolor White, which mine is really tiny, and I'm also going to be using a purple water brush marker. Okay, so let's start with the Parma Violet. Okay, 1008. And we're just going to put this in this leaf, this one, and also this one, and that one. Okay, and these areas are really tiny, so make sure your pencil is sharp. Okay, they're so tiny. And then we're going to blend with white. Okay, and then we'll just use the water marker. Use the fine liner end or a purple fine liner. We're not going to smudge this. We're just going to put it in the shadow areas without smudging, because this area is really tiny. Okay. And we're going to do the same with, let's turn, with these leaves over here. Okay, they're really, really tiny. What was I talking about? My students' papers. So yeah, that one did on Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief. Trying to think. And the very last paper I read, we're back with Black Grape. She did her paper on Twilight, and she discussed how it's Stephanie Meyer, how Stephanie Meyer's religious beliefs, she's a Mormon, white, influenced her writing of the book. And it was fascinating. It was a really good paper. So yeah, so I am all done with my students' papers. And now I have a couple of weeks before the semester begins. And I've got to start preparing my classes. So it will be a busy couple of weeks until then. Okay, I think a little bit more Parma Violet. Yeah. One second. Okay, do we want to put these anywhere else? So we've done it on this side of the page. So let's also put it also on this side of the page. I think we'll do these tiny ones over here as well. Wait, let me just... Okay, wow, these leaves are so tiny. I'm just quiet because I'm paying attention. I don't want to go outside the lines. But you know, even if you go outside the lines, that's fine. Okay, and a bit more Parma Violet. And also these ones. Yeah, so what else? I think that's more or less it that happened to me this week. It's, yeah, once the semester begins, there will be more to talk about. Because then the student antics will begin. I've already had one student contact me, an upcoming student, to tell me that she can't come to the first lesson. At least she's letting me know in advance. I appreciate that. Okay, let's zoom out because I think that's it for today. Let's have a look at what we've done. Okay, so this is how our garden snail is looking right now. We finished all of the flowers and we've done quite a few of the leaves. Next time we'll finish the leaves and then we're going to start coloring the snail's body. I am really very pleased with our color palette. I think it's perfect for the autumn season and yes, it's going to be lovely when it's finished. So thank you so much for joining me as I've colored these flowers and leaves, and I hope you join me again for the next one. Have a lovely weekend and bye for now.